weekly live to answer your questions and give you some fun announcements. And today we have a very special announcement in that I will be announcing the 3 winners of the Shredtober Challenge giveaway in just a moment. So stay tuned for that. Just so everybody knows what we're doing here in this live that happens every Friday. Time is always TBD depending on when I get this out, but the replay is always available. First, we go over the announcements, and then we go over your questions as posted in the Ask Philip thread. So if we look at our announcements in the group, and by the way, this group has been growing by leaps and bounds over the past few weeks. So thank you, everybody, for getting the word out, and welcome to all our newest members who are seeing this for the first time. This very live that I'm doing is a really cool service that I provide that I haven't personally seen in too many groups, and I encourage you to take advantage of it. But anyway, we're going to go over some of the announcements today. First of all, I'm going to unpin last week's Ask Friday because it will be replaced with this one. So remove, and then I'm going to point out the fact that I usually pin the most recent video, training, live, what have you. The most recent one that was put up here was actually episode 114 that just came out publicly on Tuesday, but I had streamed the recording live, and I might do this again. I will do this again for future episodes. So that's pretty cool. And by the way, if you follow the podcast, really exciting. Today, I'm going to actually go to that right now. Today, our very own Tony Perry, who's been a longtime member of the group, he's a fellow lifter, he's a friend, and he's a client, is on the podcast. So it's a really fun conversation that we had. You're going to get a ton of insights from Tony, as I did. And I've talked to him lots. I mean, we talk almost every day. And still in this conversation, because I got to probe a little bit more deeply, he shared some insights about training that I think are really valuable if you feel stuck, if you're not sure where to go, if you want to know more about the mindset and consistency side of all this. And then we also talk about nutrition and his mini cut and how that all worked, all the things he learned. So definitely check that out. It's episode 115. You can watch it on YouTube. You could follow it in your favorite podcast app. If you do listen to the podcast, please make sure to subscribe so you get new episodes. Even if you don't want to listen to all the episodes, subscribing actually helps me in the rankings so others can find the show. So check that out. And next Tuesday's episode is actually going to be my experience with the micro cut from the Shredtober Challenge, and then the results of the overall challenge. It's everything, as well as my takeaway and lessons for you if it's something that you're considering. Not only things that we followed in the protocol, but also things that I might have done differently or that I would recommend people consider experimenting with if I or you did this in the future. And of course, I have the protocol available as well if you ever want it. Anything that I create that I put out there for free, if you go to witsandweights.com/free, you can see a bunch of downloads that I've been adding to over the past week. I have a few of them up there, a lot more to come, but the rapid fat loss protocol is there. Feel free to share this page with other people if you want to share it with them. And there you go. Okay. So the only other things that I always have pinned in the announcements are how to use the community and how to use the Ask Philip thread. So actually, this is the Ask Philip thread, and then this one is about how to ask questions in the group. Okay, so without wasting time, I would like to announce the winners of the October 2023 Shredtober 14-day fat loss annihilation challenge. This was a random drawing based on all of the people who completed the challenge, who filled out the form, and who adhered to the calorie and protein targets. So I did a random drawing and I took a video recording of it on my phone. I used one of those websites that have the little spinning wheel. And so if you need the evidence, I can show it to you. I just to back that up. But anyway, we're going to go into this scheduled post that I have going out later today. Congratulations to Isis, Lynn, and Carl. Isis Alvarado Meza, Lynn Mathewson, and Carl Berryman. You are the winners of the $100 First Form gift card I will be sending you messages and emails to make sure we close on that and get you the gift card. And then you can go and buy whatever supplements you want of your choice: meat sticks, protein powders, electrolytes, protein bars, all awesome stuff that 1st Phorm has. And again, congratulations to Isis, Lynn, and Carl. You stuck through the challenge. You collected the data. You shared your results with me. All those results are being put to good use behind the scenes, as you'll find out on Tuesday's episode. And when I put out the white paper with all the data, the anonymized data, but you guys were there the whole way. You supported each other. You asked questions. And by the way, everyone who participated was fully engaged and learned a ton, and probably learned some surprising things about themselves. So I appreciate you guys, and congratulations on winning. Again, I will reach out to you one-on-one for the logistics, and you'll see this posted a little bit later after this video goes out. And with that, we're going to get into the Ask Philip question for today. We only have one question, which is all good. And again, I encourage everyone to take advantage of this service. You can post your question by Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, and then I will answer it. And what I'm looking for are specific questions that will help you as an individual get unstuck, right? If you have a more generic question you're just curious about, I love hearing those as well. Those would be great for the podcast. Those would also be great for the mini episodes that I plan to produce. And so you could always throw them to me via DM. You can respond to my request for Q&A post. You can go into the community chats. In the community chats, we have a Q&A chat. There's like a million ways to get a hold of me. So worst case, just DM me right here in Facebook. Just send me a message over Messenger. Okay, so Tony, speaking of, our star of the day on the podcast, asks a question that's a really good one, I think, that some people think about when they're bulking, when they're building. So he says, at 194 pounds and consuming 185 grams of protein a day, so that's like 0.9 grams of 0.9 grams per pound of protein for him, which is in the ballpark where you want to be. I'm eating 2.12 grams per kilogram. So we know that the evidence-based range is like 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram, which is like 0.7 to 1 grams per pound. And he's just under the top end of that. So he's in that sweet spot. Since this is considered the high range justified by muscle building, and considering I'm tracking overall macros, and especially how we don't store protein, but we do store the other macros. Really good point, Tony, right? Because we can only store something like 10 grams of protein in our body a day, 10 grams. And so that's why we have to consume a whole bunch of it if we want to make use of it. And we have to continue to consume it every day. And this is why consuming it multiple times distributed throughout the day is even more effective, a little bit more effective than just in big blocks. So this is an important consideration. His question is, how wasteful is it to go above that intake? Is it just going to take caloric room from carbs and fats? Not that fats are treated the same as carbs. Sorry, I got distracted. Good question. Okay. So generally, my thoughts on this are that it's highly variable, of course, based on the individual. Going past that range of 2.2 grams per kilogram. Am I sharing the screen? I think I am. 2.2 grams per kilogram is generally not going to give you much of a benefit. It's minimal to no benefit. There are some studies that look at advanced trainees going up to like 1.2 to 1.5 grams per pound and showing a tiny bump from that, right? So it's not going to hurt. It's never going to hurt to increase your protein. But as you mentioned, it's going to require a trade-off. It's going to limit your intake of carbs and fats. And we know that those play crucial roles as well. Fats are crucial for hormone balance, for cell membrane health, for absorption of vitamins. However, you don't need so much fat, right? Like there's a certain amount, you hit the threshold, you're good. So I'm not so concerned about fats. Carbs, as we know, though, are the other big fun macro for lifters, for people building muscle, because they give you that energy, they replenish that glycogen, which is really important during high intensity workouts, both glycolytic type workouts like CrossFit and cardio, but also lifting. However, we know that we drain something like 40% of the glycogen from our reserves when we lift. And it's not evenly distributed. It depends on what you're lifting, what muscle groups, and so on. But let's just say it's not half of your glycogen, meaning if you've hit a certain threshold of the glycogen you need, you're going to be fine. And so to go above those in carbs may not matter from that perspective. It may matter for other reasons. It may give you more energy throughout the day. It gives you the chance to have carbohydrates, not just about around your workouts, but in other meals. It contributes to a more sustainable, balanced kind of diet if you like to enjoy all the different carbs, right? Starches and fruits and grains and all that. The other thing is when you're trying to build muscle, usually your metabolism is climbing and you have to eat more and more. And protein, as we know, is the most satiating macro. It also burns the most calories. It has the highest thermic effect. And so it's kind of counterproductive to have too much protein while you're building muscle, because it might make you too full, make you stuffed, like you can't eat more. It might actually burn more calories than you're intending to, because you're actually trying to build muscle. So the individual variability is very high on this. And at the end of the day, when you say how wasteful it is, it's not that's not really the concern so much as how it works for you. And I would say rule number one, what's the most sustainable, enjoyable, flexible way to live for you and your diet? If you feel that you are holding back on protein on purpose because of these macros, don't do that. Eat more protein. I definitely have clients that go up into that 1.5 range. They just love protein. And when you're building muscle, you have plenty of calories and plenty of tolerance between all the macros. So you kind of got the wishy-washy answer you probably expected, but it's actually the right answer. It depends. And it should be based on flexibility, lifestyle, satiety, all of those other factors, not so much whether you're wasting the potential or not. All right. So that's it today for Ask Philip. And we're going to leave it at that. I'm going to post this and reach out to the winners of the Shredtober Challenge. Again, Isis, Lynn, and Carl, congrats again. If you guys have any questions, comment below this post. If you're watching live, hashtag live. If you're watching replay, hashtag replay, and go ahead and throw your comments and questions. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Peace.